What is up, YouTube? My name is Mr. Kyle Cohen. I'm a 4th grade teacher in Cleveland, Ohio, and believe it or not, the summer is coming to an end. But for some of us, we are really excited to be able to get into a classroom with students, or hopefully into a classroom with students. Anyway, I am really excited to be here today, sharing with all of you 10 of my absolute favorite ways to start the year off on the right foot with students. Whether you have all of your students, you're in hybrid, if you're virtual, it doesn't matter. These activities are essentials for me to ensure that we are starting a year that is cultivating a really positive, inclusive classroom community. And the things that I am thinking about at the beginning of the year are how can I make sure that students are having fun, that they feel included, and that we are really setting the tone for what is going to be an amazing year. You're going to see with these 10 activities that they are really engaging, they are really fun, and they're focused on getting to know students. I want to get to know my students, I want them to be forming relationships with one another, and these activities will really make sure that you are doing just that. I am not one of those believers of the age-old principle that you need to start the year off firm and tough and then smile at Christmas break and then be nice for the second half of the year. No, like, I'm my full, fun, authentic self from the moment students walk into the classroom. That is who I am as a teacher, and you will really see that through these 10 activities. So we have a lot to get through, so let's get into it. One of my favorite ways to start off any school year is by getting to understand the type of classroom environment that students are looking for. As their 4th grade teacher, I do a lot that sets the tone of how the classroom is going to look, how it's going to feel, what the environment is going to be like. But at the end of the day, it is up to students who also share the classroom with me to have say in what this classroom is going to be like, how their experiences are going to be in the classroom. So I ask students to reflect on the things that they want to see, hear, do, and feel in the classroom. On a piece of paper or on their Chromebook, I want them to write down as many words or ideas that come to mind when we think about the things that students want to see, hear, do, and feel in the classroom. We then take all of their individual ideas, I partner them up, they talk through all of their ideas with a partner. I might even group them up with 3 or 4 other students. They'll talk through their ideas. We will then come together as a class and make a master list of everything we want to be seeing, hearing, doing, and feeling in the classroom. We post these up on the board. They are there all year. And I find that this language of see, hear, do, and feel is really, really applicable for 4th graders. It allows them to really imagine this ideal classroom community. And sometimes I'll even say to them, I want you to close your eyes and imagine the perfect classroom. What are the things that students are doing? What are they seeing? What are they hearing? What are they feeling, right? And we hold one another accountable to ensure that we are meeting these expectations every minute of every day. Yes, I, the teacher, could stand up at the front of the classroom and go through all of our rules. However, as much as possible, especially during those first few days of school, I am really thinking about how we can be making this engaging and fun and memorable for students. Second activity is really focused on getting to know students. On a blank Google slide, I will have students' names up at the top left. I make one long Google slide presentation with one slide left blank for every student in the class. Students are tasked with creating a Google slide that represents who they are as a person. They dump all of their favorite things using images or words onto the slide, and then we come together to look through everyone's slides. Students can come up and present their slides, and I also present a slide myself as a really fun and engaging way for students to get to know one another. This really incorporates technology in a powerful way. It gets them utilizing various copy-paste methods that we utilize all year round. So it's educational, it's get to know you, and it's really fun for them to come on up and share who they are with their new classmates. A third activity that I love to do is a scavenger hunt around the classroom. I'll split students up into teams. They will be given a list of tasks and they will have to go about the classroom finding these various things. I do this for a few reasons. Get students up and active. It gets them physically moving. It also allows them to learn their way around the classroom, and I'm able to have conversations with students about things that are for them to touch and use and just go to, as well as other things that are kind of more off limits. For For example, students are asked to go to the pencil sharpener, and on the pencil sharpener, there's actually a sign that says that you must be 18 years or over to use. I don't allow students the ability to just at any minute of every day get up and sharpen a pencil. We have a specific classroom system and procedure for pencil sharpening. This is just one example of the countless procedures that go into making our classroom run smoothly. We will then pause, have conversations about the various procedures, and again, it's just such a better way than going list by list of this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, this is what you can touch, this is what you can't touch, if that makes sense. Something else that is incredibly important to me at the start of the school year is modeling vulnerability to my students. I do this in a very fun way, so I love to play Who Knows Mr. Cohen Best, because students want to get to know their teacher. They want to know who you are and they want to hear about your life. I've done this on a Jeopardy template, I've used Kahoot, I've used quizzes, they all work just fine, and it is a really fun way for students to get to know fun, silly, random facts about you. It's a lot more fun than having them just sit and listen to you tell them all about yourself, which I do to some extent, but at the same time, model that vulnerability in a very fun way, start the process of showing and telling a little bit about who you are, so that students hopefully will feel comfortable to share a little bit about who they are to the entire classroom community. This next activity is nothing but fun, which I think is essential during this back to school time. I teach fourth graders. They should be smiling and laughing and enjoying school. So one of my favorite activities right out of the gate is Biggest Fan. Biggest Fan is essentially an epic game of rock, paper, scissors. I have done this every single school year. I have done this since my days at camp, and I have yet to meet a group of kids who do not love playing Biggest Fan. Here's how it works. Students partner up. Let's say that you and I are partners. We will play rock, paper, scissors 2 out of 3. Make sure you are very clear with them on how you play rock, paper, scissors. Are you a rock, paper, scissors, shoot kind of person? Are you a rock, paper, scissors, 1, 2, 3? People do it all sorts of ways. So set the ground rules on how to properly play rock, paper, scissors. I am a rock, paper, scissors, shoot type of person, but again, you do you. Just set the ground rules so students know what is expected of them. So you and I are partners, we're playing rock, paper, scissors. So think every single student has a partner. If you have an odd number, maybe you play, and if you don't have an odd number, maybe you just facilitate. So be flexible with that. But let's say you and I are partners, we face off rock, paper, scissors, shoot, best 2 out of 3. Let's say I win, I beat you 2 out of 3 times, woohoo, I win. I need to now go find someone else who won. The person who lost, the loser, is my biggest fan, which means you need to be cheering "Go Mr. Cohen" louder than anyone in the entire world. You are screaming and cheering "Go Mr. Cohen." Yes, we really bother the neighbors of our classroom when we play this game. Sometimes I'll take them outside, but it's worth it. So you're becoming my biggest fan. I then go find another winner. One person's cheering for me, someone's cheering for that person, and we then continue playing this game until it is one person against one person with everyone else in the class cheering for one of those 2 people, and it is such an amazing time. This activity really promotes an opportunity to talk about losing and being a positive loser. It talks about winning and being a positive winner. These are essential life skills that it is our job to coach students through, especially in those elementary years. But if you are teaching high school, or if you are a principal or a school leader or whatever, whoever you are watching this video, I promise you that whoever you are with, so long as you have like 6 people, Biggest Fan, always a hit. At the beginning of the school year, I also want to know where my students stand academically, and I do all different kinds of activities to pre-assess where students are at. As a writing teacher, I often write my students a letter and have them write one back to me. Their letter back to me is giving me some really key information on spelling, on handwriting, on their grammar, on their punctuation, all of those things. If it is math, I might do a pre-assessment in the form of students are writing on their whiteboards, solving different problems that I'm projecting up on the board. I'm walking around, seeing who can do them, who cannot. I might have a checklist on my clipboard, checking off students who have mastered it, students who are having a hard time. I might do this also in the form of a Kahoot or a quizzes. I typically do not need to take these pre-assessments as a grade, right? Like I'm not grading students on their mastery here. I'm simply gauging where they are at in terms of their academics. So I'm thinking of how I can be doing this in a really fun, engaging way. I have a really hard time with it being the first, second, third day of school, and I'm giving my students a paper quiz, a pre-assessment, frame it however you want. It still comes off as they're taking a test, and I don't want students to feel like they are being put under a microscope or that they are being pressured to perform in any way. They just had all of summer. You can still get really critical information from students in a form of a fun game, activity, engaging, some sort of thing. So think creatively about how you can get this data in a way that is really positive for students. Another great get to know you activity, also using Kahoot or quizzes, Jeopardy, another one of these games that you can make virtually very quickly, is get to know your students. So we have played How Well Do You Know Mr. Cohen or Who Knows Mr. Cohen Best as a way to get to know me, but I also love to do this for students. On the first day of school or before, I sent out a survey to all families. This survey asks tons of different questions. I've actually shared it in a previous video, which I will link up here and down below. In this survey, I'm asking for family contact information. I'm asking for information about allergies or medications or anything that families want to share with me. But I'm also asking for fun information about students, what their goals are for their child, all of those things. So I take this information and I compile some of the very fun facts into a get to know our classroom game. So on Kahoot, I might take this student's favorite color and say, what is Bobby's favorite color? Or what does Braylon like to do after school? So I am taking all of this information that I have compiled from this survey, and it is just a great way for us to get to know one another in the classroom. The first or second day of school is a really challenging time to say to students, all right, take about 5 minutes, we're heading to lunch soon, just because they don't really know what to do. Maybe they don't know anybody in the classroom. They don't know who they can talk to. I try to really just eliminate that awkward time by having a few activities that are just in my back pocket, ready to be implemented. If we get to them, great. If not, we will get to them at some point during the year. And here are just 3 of my favorite, very quick go-to activities. This first one is called pancake or waffle. It could be a 5-minute filler or a 30-minute filler. Students love this one. How you play pancake or waffle is one person starts by thinking of an object. I typically tell my students it needs to be something you can hold in your hands. For example, let's say a computer mouse. In my mind, I'm the person in the front of the room who is thinking of the object. No one else knows the object. I'm thinking computer mouse. First student goes and they say pancake or waffle. I'm now thinking to myself, is a computer mouse more like a pancake or more like a waffle? I say pancake. Next student goes, they say pancake or whatever comes to mind. So pancake or iPhone. I think to myself, a computer mouse is more like an iPhone, so I say iPhone. Next person goes, iPhone or hot dog. I say iPhone. We keep going and going until they actually narrow it down into the original object, which was a computer mouse. It is very fun. They get very excited when the final person guesses the object correctly. If time permits, I usually let that person go next. They come up, they think of the object. It is such a fun game. They always love to play. Another very quick first week of school filler, or any time of school year filler, is put a finger down. This became huge on TikTok. Elementary students love it. We put up 10 fingers, one person is it. Put a finger down if you have a brother or sister. Put a finger down if you were born in Ohio. Put a finger down if you like ice cream, and so on. Students put a finger down when that thing applies to them. Another amazing way to get to know one another and to have fun while doing it. Next activity is this or that. This is a really quick one, just like put a finger down. You can prep this ahead of time by having some slides prepared. You can also just think of it on the spot. There are 2 really easy ways to play. One being students go on one side of the room or the other. That's a great way of getting them up and moving. If your pandemic restrictions do not allow students to be up and moving, it's very easy to just play by standing up and sitting down. Another amazing way for students to get to know one another, gets them up, gets them moving, makes them active, and it is also very fun. I feel like I was just talking so fast to make sure that this video was not 3 hours long. So if anything was confusing, or if you have any questions about any of the activities that I talked about today, go ahead, leave a comment down below. I'm happy to explain anything further. I hope your school year starts off so smoothly. If you have not already done so, make sure you hit that red subscription button down below. There are some upcoming classroom setup videos and a classroom tour, so you do not want to miss any of those future videos. As always, I so appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.